Little birdie told me I'd need RV advice.
Get information straight from the horse's mouth.
Little birdie told me I'd need RV advice.
It's Just Ask Gigi with Gigi Stetler and Tom Alexander. Now here's Gigi and Tom.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Just Ask Gigi. My name's Tom Alexander, and of course, as always, I am joined by Gigi Stetler. Hey, Gigi, how's it going?
Oh, grand. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Doing well, and I'll tell you, last week's show, wow, what a flurry of activity after that one.
Yeah, and it's actually it has continued,
Yeah.
and I have a couple of more success stories, but
Yeah.
I believe that we're getting some traction, and I don't think I had that ready last week, but we now have a website, www.victimsofmarcuslemonis.com.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
It kind of cuts right to the point, doesn't it?
Yep.
There's no nothing ambiguous there, is there?
Nothing ambiguous about that.
Yeah.
So on that website, which will gain national attention, we're going to post real-time stories. I know there's stories all over Facebook and things like that, but we're kind of, we're looking for, that pattern to try to, put together a class action lawsuit and stuff. So it's easier if I have, it's different, between what's on a website than what's on social media. It kind of gets a little bit better traction, when it's on when it's on an actual website and posted and stuff like that. So
right.
So
there's like a common meeting place, it's like City Hall, right? You kind of everybody everybody can go there and it's good to have a central location where everybody can.
It's just beyond me, like and I don't know if I want to say shocking, because I've been reading, all the horror stories and stuff,
Right.
on Camping World Experience and RV horror stories and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
until you actually look at the documents, which I have been doing this week, at actual evidence and documentation of real stories, real cases, it's like you kind of, because people like to complain and they don't really do anything about it and stuff like that. And, and I think that what we really need to do, and what happens and why so many problems fall through the cracks, number one, they know, for you to hire a lawyer, no one's going to touch your case for less than a $25,000 retainer. And
Right.
and they will paper you to death. So they know that. So that's, they know that they can get away with the things that they do. And a lot of other, problems if you do get a lawyer, and then the issue is that, you don't preserve evidence. So I know exactly what to look for, and I know exactly what I need, to help to put these cases together. So, and what to preserve, as far as evidence, because that's what I said, most cases fail because they didn't preserve the right evidence. So I'm going to have all of that on that website, and the stories will be posted. Of course, we'll filter them to make sure that they're real stories, and then, backed up with documentation and stuff. And we will run it through RVACA. We do have some lawyers nationwide that are willing to pro bono, because of our nonprofit status,
Right.
to take some cases on that need legal representation. But we're kind of hoping that we don't have to go that far,
Yeah.
like with the McNairs, how I got their case settled. I have a few more in the works right now, so I hope I have more success stories on the other few that I have, which were similar to the McNairs, to be settled in the next week. So
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what's happening.
For those folks that may have missed
Hmm.
last week's show, which kind of drew a lot of attention, like we were saying, Shalene McNair and her husband had a basic, I guess the best way to say is your basic bait and switch kind of situation that occurred with Camping World. And of course, you kind of rode in on your white horse and came to the rescue. And do you have a white horse? I know
I do have a white horse. I have two white horses.
Two white horses. Okay,
Two
'cause
white
I know
horses.
you are equestrian, to say the least. Anyway, issue was resolved. Really.
Yeah, they got all their money back.
They
Not
got
only
everything back.
Yep. They got
Tremendous. But
all their payments they made on the unit for the last year, so it was really great.
yeah, and on the heels of that, of course, we talked about all the other, as you said, folks that have been sort of, victimized by not only Camping World but Marcus Lemonis. There was a story as well about two folks who met him on the CNBC program, The Prophet.
Yeah.
And that was another thing. Their siblings and their company, they were kind of brought in and they met on that show, and one thing led to the next, and before they knew it, they were
them.
Yeah.
He destroyed them. Yeah, Marcus Lemonis destroyed them and basically took their company. But what's interesting is that Nicholas, one of the partners, after Marcus had basically took everything from him, his company and everything, started working at Camping World, and so he went to work for Camping World. And interesting, he's got some interesting stories to tell us, and about the works of Camping World, and I really truly believe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I know for a fact,
Mm-hmm.
as we have a few inside employees, ex-employees, that they're trained to know how to lie. They're trained to know how to wear you down and exhaust you to where you're not reading the contracts and the paperwork. I have another elder lady. Oh my God, what they did to this woman. They kept her there until 9 o'clock at night, pitch dark, and then basically threw the keys at her and said goodbye. And, so she drove off the lot, no paperwork because the finance office closed, so she didn't even get any copies of anything. And she drove off the lot, and as she pulled out of the driveway, her entry door flew open in the motorhome. So she just thought maybe she didn't lock it. Well, she locked it, she slammed it shut, and she got another 10 miles and it flew open again. So she, which is unbelievably dangerous.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so she actually pulled over or got to a campsite or something, and then she realized that the door was not even lined up, that it's impossible to lock. It's impossible. It doesn't line up. It's completely like it's not centered. It's not centered, so it's not going to catch the lock, and it's not going to close. And 1 year and 7 months later, they still have her RV, and it's unbelievable. Like it just like the stories are just like they're not even normal. Like that.
It never ends. It just never seems to end. And I think those stories bother me the most. The people that target older people, and they just keep you hear it all the time with scam telemarketers and so forth and everything else. So it's really really unbelievably it's ugly. It's an ugly thing. But
I believe that people like that I they're sociopaths.
Yeah.
That take pleasure in harming people, because there's enough money in that company to make things right. So it's almost like it's intentional. They have 60% of the market share. They don't have to care. And if we don't step up and do something about it, I saw so many people that post on on like RV Horror Stories and Camping World Experience that have given up camping. And that's what's making me fight so hard, is because, you know, it's a lifelong dream for people. They pour their retirement money in, they sell their house, and they want to enjoy life. And now they're giving up camping because it's not worth it. You know, if it's nothing but aggravation. Shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, no, it
should
shouldn't.
not be like that. No, it shouldn't. This is supposed to be the, you know, the time of your life. And I mean, RVing is a beautiful family,
Sure,
you know,
absolutely.
adventure, and you know,
and look where it's only going up and up with, you know,
yeah,
the way things are right now, and
booming.
it's
Booming, and
just
that's
booming.
even more,
Yeah,
but that's more scary because that means there's more unprotected customers out
yeah,
there.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
So
let's take a quick break, Gigi, and we've got a couple questions for you when we come back on the other side. You're
alrighty.
watching Just Ask Gigi. She's Gigi Stetler. I'm Tom Alexander. Back in a moment.
In a minute.
The RVACA is a charitable organization protecting the rights of RV owners. With your help, we'll work with dealers and manufacturers to ensure quality controls in place prior to delivery of an RV. Additionally, the RVACA provides assistance to disaster relief victims. Visit rvaca.org. Hi, everybody. We are back on Just Ask Gigi, along with Gigi Stetler. I'm Tom Alexander, and of course, this is the part on the show where we where we ask you questions. This is it. This is Just Ask Gigi. So
Bring them on.
we are going to do that. We have a question from Susan, and Susan asks, "How do you prioritize?" Well, this is interesting. How do you prioritize your issues that come in? I've been helping some.
My issues or other people's
Well,
issues?
yeah, the issues when they come in. Yeah, not your issues. We don't have you don't have issues.
And say, I have an issue. Here's a
Yeah,
tissue.
yeah.
Good question. I actually have a really good team, and what I do is when oh my goodness, a big tree just fell down right outside my window. Oh, sorry.
Oh no! Is it windy? What's going on over there?
I hope it missed my car. I have no idea.
Oh man!
Anyway, so I have a really good team. So when stuff comes in, it's filtered and it's verified to make sure that, you know, it's real people and, you know, real time stuff. And then they gather up all the information from me. I know exactly what I'm looking for. So in a particular contract or a work order, you know, I leave my staff to, you know, kind of get all the whole background of the story, and then they make it very simple and give me the exact information that I know what I need in order to find a course of you know, a course of action. So I don't prioritize as to who's more in trouble than others or the amount of money. I don't do it like that. I work as they come in. They all get worked right away, and there are a lot of them. But I guess the answer to that would be the people that really want resolution and don't want to just complain would be the top of my list.
Yeah, they go to the front of the line. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of people that no matter what I tell them, okay, well, they did this, you know, this is wrong. Give me a copy of your contract and let me read the back page. And then, you know, it'd take them a week to give me this and that. And you know, and they're like, well, you know, I'm just going to give up. You know, I can't help people that don't want to try. You know, so if you try and you're all for it and you're ready for a good fight, I'm with you. I will back you. But if you don't really want to fight and you just want to complain and go, then just stay on the websites that and complain.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's one from David. Any places along the way, I'm thinking he's talking about franchises that you frequent on when you're on a long road trip. I think he's talking about favorite places to stop. Like, is it a chain or are there specific mom and pop places?
Well, are you talking dealerships or is he
No, no, no.
talking?
I think he means he's talking franchise. I think he's talking restaurants.
Restaurants. Um, well, for me personally, when I'm camping, I actually prefer to cook.
Yeah.
So I don't really frequent restaurants. If I was on a road trip, I actually enjoy cooking, and I enjoy the outdoors. I enjoy all of that. If I was going to the same place, like if I was at a horse show, and it wasn't cooking that night, then yeah, I would have my favorite restaurants, but
Hmm.
I don't particularly like chain restaurants at all,
Yeah.
even when I'm home. If
Right.
I have to do an emergency out back because it's across the street from my house, on an emergency because it's late and then there's no dinner, so it would do takeout. But otherwise, I'm really not a big chain
Yeah.
promoter
Yeah. Because we
at all.
see every now and then. Well, not more than now and then. We'll see RVs at your neighborhood Cracker Barrel. You'll
Oh,
see.
I know. I mean, and there's probably nothing wrong with Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
I guess it's just never been my thing of comfort food, and
Right.
which is what they say that Cracker Barrel is comfort food, fried
Right.
chicken and mashed potatoes or whatever.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, and you're gonna laugh at me, but if I had to pick a place like that, Waffle House,
Oh, Waffle House, absolutely.
you know,
They dot
Waffle
the
House.
they dot the South, from oh gosh, Virginia to Florida and westward, Mississippi, Alabama. They're all
Yeah,
over the place. You've got a
they are.
lot of Waffle Houses, and if you've never been to one,
I have one across the street from my house, and
yeah,
on when I used to, be out partying all night, and at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I would frequently go to Waffle House,
yeah,
and and all I can remember is it's so cold in there, and that's part of their MO, I guess, of keeping it extremely, extremely cold. But I always
and
just got a kick.
what's the reason? What's the thinking behind that?
I
Just
don't know,
to
but
move
I mean,
people out and in and out quickly, or
I don't know. Or I don't know. Maybe they have dead people on. I don't know. It's just like, I mean, it's like morgue freezing.
yeah.
The ice, like literally the windows ice up. It's so crazy.
Wow.
But I think what most fascinated me always, I mean, their pancakes are great, but the way they take your order, they don't write anything down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you've ever been there, and then it's like a song on, the smashing taters and this and that, la 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 la, and they just ramble on, and
Yeah,
then
it's got its own culture, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah, I
it's
mean,
very interesting. It's a very interesting.
it's going to be really hard to take, if you got a table of 6 or a table of 8, and they don't write a thing down,
Yeah,
and then they go, and the chef that's cooking doesn't write anything down,
yeah.
and
That's amazing. They
it's,
commit all that to memory, but
I know,
that's
and
part of the
especially
magic.
it is, it's really cool, and especially like when you have to, when you're giving them a full description of how you want your eggs.
Yeah, yeah. It's breakfast and a floor show, I guess you could
Yeah.
say, and however you want to describe it. So there you go. All right, so we got it out of you. It's Waffle House. There you go. Hey, folks, we want to also remind you as well, as we have been for these many weeks now, the rvaca.org is your voice, but we need memberships more and more. And if you register your vehicle, always a good idea. Get with the RVACA. We're working hard to be your voice in Washington. Get a seat at the table along with the other organizations that exist to have the back, if you will, of the manufacturers, of the dealers. Well, you need somebody at your back as well, and it's the rvaca.org. And of course, also we want to mention that we continue to support those on the front lines, helping in the fight against COVID-19, and that if you want to supply, temporarily lend your unit of vehicle, or rather your RV to folks on the front line as an isolation unit, let us know, rvaca.org. Or if you don't have a vehicle or a unit yourself, by all means, you can make a monetary donation there as well to help those folks fighting COVID-19. And it's very, very important. And of course, here at the RV Advisor, you want to ask a question of Gigi Stetler. Very simple. Info at thervadvisor.com. That's info at thervadvisor.com.
And don't forget, Tom, if you have a complaint, the new website, the www.victimsofmarcuslemonis.com.
There you go.
Submit your story there.
Victimsofmarcuslemonis.com. And yes, and sad to say, there's a lot of them. But hopefully that number will diminish,
Yes.
sooner than later.
I hope.
Anyway, that's it for another show. We appreciate your time, and we will see you again next Thursday, right here at the RV Advisor and on our Facebook page and on YouTube and wherever you find us. For Gigi Stetler, I'm Tom Alexander. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. So long, everybody.